to that being you still think that Forest View can go mano a mano with South Point on the defensive end. Please, you have a moment right now on the Gaston Gazette WGNC postgame show, driven proudly by Tyndall Ford Subaru, to plead your case. Go forward, sir.
Well, Brian, you can't compare the two because obviously the results aren't there. The talent really isn't there.
Timeout. Carson, is he backtracking?
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
I'm talking about tonight's performance for Forest View against North Gaston. You can't compare North Gaston and South Point mano a mano, but it'll give you a good idea of the potential defensive effort based on tonight's defensive effort that the Jaguars gave the Wildcats. Through one quarter, the Jaguars came out of the game tonight, right out of the gates, and scored. Boom. Logan Bradley, I believe it was to McKelty Armstrong, right. and it was in the first possession. I want to say within the first 4 plays. Now, North Gaston came out, and Nick Haskin, they drove right down the field and scored, and I thought that we were going to be in for a shootout. It was going to be a 57-56 type game. And they went for 2. North Gaston went up 8-7. And, in the back of my mind, I thought, wow, this is going to be a shootout. We're in for a good game. North Gaston is really for real. This might give us a little bit of trouble coming into next week.
Okay, now let me stop you. I wasn't there, so were you surprised? Were you a little confused by North Gaston going for 2 so early in the game?
Not really, no. No, I figured, the first score of the game, I thought maybe Mike Patton didn't have a field goal kicker. But other than that, not really, no.
Okay. So, even with Christian Stewart there, this wasn't a fake or anything. They went right after it.
No, they went right after it for 2.
It's looking for a momentum play early on. Okay. So, moving forward, North Gaston's got an 8-7 lead, and that was really about as close as it got.
Yeah, at one point, I believe it was in the 28-15 ball game, but that was as close as it get. The Jaguars' defense, they looked fantastic. They put 5 on the line, as you were saying that South Point did against Ashbrook tonight. They put 5 on the line, and the ends crashed in, and that's, it really gave me a bit of confidence. I'm not one to always have an overbit of confidence. I'm not one to give out big predictions for games. But the name of the game with me is pretty much quiet confidence, and it gave me a lot of confidence to think that the defensive effort tonight for the Jaguars against North Gaston, putting a North Gaston team that might be for real, might not be for real. There's a lot of factors in that, but to come out and hold North Gaston pretty much through 3 quarters to a 15-point effort gave us all a lot of confidence for Forest View that next week's matchup could turn out to be one of the most fantastic ball games in Gaston County history.
Wow. Okay. All right. Before everybody from Belmont grabs their crates of tomatoes and makes their way to the Gazette studios to find us out front, let me bring you back in a little bit. Okay. Let me be the voice of reason for the fan. Okay. Cliff, there is one glaring indictment in regards to this charge, and that goes back to the Nation Ford game. Be it as much as this club has developed and made some stances defensively against East Lincoln, against other clubs this year, this South Point team, this is a potent playmaking defensive club. I would tell you they probably have as many, if not more, playmakers on the defensive side of the ball than they do on the offensive side of the ball. And to be quite honest with you, their defense tonight set up a lot of what their offense was able to do, and it set the tone against Ashbrook because South Point came out in the second half and they made all the adjustments, and they absolutely punched Ashbrook in the nose. And Ashbrook was reeling and couldn't come back and do anything in this game. Granted, I think that all of the offensive components are there for Forest View for this to become an epic game in the context of the 2013 Big South Conference season. What I would ask you is the Forest View defense stout enough to keep a team like South Point that put up a 48 on Ashbrook, which I thought has an extraordinarily good defense in the context of this conference? You think they've got what it takes to make the plays on the defensive side of the ball to keep South Point at bay to where their offense has an opportunity to win this game?
I think so, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of unwritten factors, and you've always got to, I know for some people, and I'm sure a lot of the Red Caps over in Belmont are going to laugh at me for saying this, but it's a lopsided rivalry on the results end of it. Varsity's, I think, you won and a ton against South Point since their program began in 1998. But you've always got that rival. I like to call it the rivalry factor. Where these two teams, they're going to strap up and they're going to go against each other like they haven't gone against any other team on their schedule, just simply from a rivalry standpoint. So this has all the makings and the makeup of what could be a fantastic game, and like you say, one of the big keys for Forest View to pick up that second victory all time against South Point next week would be for that defense to step up, to play lights out, to play mistake free. And it's going to take a bigger effort even than the Jaguars gave tonight against North Gaston. It's going to take a big effort. But I think they've got the capability. They've got the personnel. They've got. They're certainly not going to back down from a rivalry standpoint. So the only thing left tonight is to invite the Red Raiders in and lock the doors behind them and see what kind of dogfight we can have.
Can I keep you around for one more second?
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and do this, folks. We're going to keep Clif Dixon here for just another moment. We'll recap the scores on the other side of this break, but you are now watching and listening to the Gaston Gazette WGNC postgame show, driven proudly by Tyndall Ford Subaru right here in Gastonia. We'll be right back.